Welcome back. Today another episode of Agohp Real, where we give unedited ideas, real life experience, real talk. And today I want to speak about how working for the government can actually completely destroy your life and your future. And it's actually not only working for the government, but you will figure that one out by yourself by sticking around till the end, why this is so important. So we are all human beings and evolutionary. We have this in common, that we want to live a long, fulfilled life with a great community around us and a strong family around us, and we want to multiply. We want to have children, and they need to have children. We want to become grandparents and pass out our experience along the way, right? But evolutionary, this comes with a few challenges, correct? So how does working for the government plays in here? I want to tell you guys a story out of my life and my personal experience, because my father is a music teacher and he works for the German government since his mid-20s, okay? Working for the German government 75 years ago, 50 years ago, it was like the holy grail, the best of the best that you could imagine, the most safe income, the most secure job, and so stable, and you were actually seen as someone important, a role within society that needs to be filled for the grace of the children and the future of the country. Well, my father has now been serving more than 40 years for the German government, and he's 65 years old. He's going to retire this year. I want to tell you a few things out of his life and how things played out for him, right? For serving a country, and specifically Germany, which is globally seen as a great nation and innovation and manufacturing and reliable timing and hard workers, right? We know all of this around about Germany, and that's how Germany has built many beautiful products and services for the last 100, 200 years. Anyhow, going back to my dad, so in his 20s, he studied music. Music was his passion. He loves to play the piano. He loves to sing. And from his family background, he grew up and practicing. He grew up around music and he practiced music. He loved it. That's his passion. So he had two options when he was finishing his university. So one was to become a componist. I think that's how it's called, componist. At least that's in German. So it is when you create your own music, you write your own songs, and you work for example, for Sony Music, and you give them arrangements and song ideas. This was one thing he could have done, self-employed by himself, not knowing, am I gonna get a paycheck? Am I gonna make money this month? Right? This was like the more risky aspect of things. And the other option was that he is working for the government. There was a strong search for his type of experience and his university degree. The German government needed teachers, needed music teachers, needed this kind of artists. So in his case, he went for that. He became a government worker. In Germany, we call it Beamter. Being a Beamter means you work for the German government, and actually this job is not, they're not able to fire you. Even if you do really, really bad stuff. Like it's basically idiot-proof salary for the rest of your life. And that's exactly why also banks love German Beamten jobs, because the banks will give you very good loans, and in my parents' cases, because of my dad, they were able to purchase a bit of real estate throughout their life. simply because of the security of the German government given to my father as a teacher. So that's a very beneficial thing, isn't it? Right? Well, is it? We'll get there in a bit. So my dad chose the route of working for the government. There's a bit of a process to it. You have a couple of years, like a practical year to gain experience. And then after 3 to 5 years, you actually become this unquittable, unfireable government employee with the best private insurance and actually a pretty good starting salary. The beginning of your journey, that's how they try to sneak you in the trap. It's a trap. We'll get there later, but it's a trap. So they already offer you more money than most other job opportunities at the time when you're 25 years old. So you start at a quite high salary. You get great security for banks, so it's easy to lend money on property and so on cars, etc. That was great. This was in the 80s and 90s, right? So this was actually quite valuable at the time. So my father met my mother. She actually turned out to be an entrepreneur and started her own practice as a physiotherapist. These two were a great match because a physiotherapist self-employed without any financial track record doesn't get any money from the bank, doesn't get any support. My dad got it because of the German government support. So that matched really well. Their careers both took off. My dad did a really good job. My mom did a really good job. But we want to speak about today mainly about my father and how it was to work for the German government. So as for the first 10 years, it all looked pretty good. A couple of issues started arising. So as you get a pretty high salary when you start, it turns out they barely lift up your earnings, okay? So even when you work for them for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, they don't really give you much increase. You get 50 euros a year more or 100 euros a year more, okay? So you need to be really aware of that when you get a high salary at the beginning, this actually could mean that you will stagnate for the next 40 years to a very limited salary. And my dad even went into the highest level of government work, which is with a university degree. So, but he could actually never reach, until 65, he could never reach a crazy salary, crazy income in Germany because of these limitations, this Beamtenstatus, this process that the government has. And that was really, really difficult for him. Also, so that limited my family massively to actually achieve very, very high goals that my mother had and that my parents had together that they wanted to offer to me and my brothers. But anyway, so that slowed him down a lot. Another problem appeared, and that was actually because of that financial limitation. You buy one property or you buy two, and even though they're profitable and the rent is paying off the mortgage, etc., now the bank didn't want to lend more money to my father because he already had two properties and his salary is kind of not enough to pay that back, right? Now comes the next issue. You're not allowed to do any work on the side. So even though he could give music classes or he could become a driver or whatever side job you can imagine, even running your own business, open another practice or like a music school, whatever. In my father's case, he was not allowed to do that. It was not an option. So all the financial gains were, and all the risk and all the difficulties, they ended up laying with my mother, right? Which became a huge problem later on, after 10, 20 years of marriage. We'll get there in a little bit. So you see, there's already these traps that, you get a high salary to start with, but then it never goes up. And also after the bank lends you a little bit of money, they won't lend you more because they know you will never earn much more money than you do now. And we're not gonna overload you with mortgages, with lending, right? It's unhealthy. So, but now we come to this most important trap, and it's this one thing that can completely destroy your life, your future, your children's lives, and will destroy your family. And that is this fake feeling of comfort and security. It's really the worst enemy you can have is when you believe I cannot be fired. Whatever work I do more, I'm not going to get paid more. It's another downside. Doesn't matter if you do 100 hours a week, your salary doesn't change, your income doesn't change, your reporting doesn't change. It's probably more negative to work more than the others, because then your colleagues will be jealous of you and will talk bad about you, and they will want you removed from their location. So this is the worst thing about working for the government, and actually not only working for the government, but that's the most extreme aspect, the German government, horrible. Having a job in general, it will always give you this false sense of security and comfort. I get paid every month, everything is fine, everything is good, I have my job forever, nothing is gonna happen. If I get sick, they pay for me, right? Because this does one thing to you. It completely brings out the lowest effort in you. You have zero motivation to be the best version of yourself. You will be complacent, you will not improve. And a saying that I recently use a lot is, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? And especially as a man, as my father, he should have been the head of the family. He should have supplied us with the most financial success. He should have supplied us with the most strength and honor and hard training, physical training, masculinity, right? But what actually working for the government does is it makes you slow, makes you complacent, plus all the food garbage and all the comfort of eating chocolate and watching TV, plus the government job. My goodness, it can really kill you. It kills your future. So what you need to be aware of as a government worker is you're actually going to have it a lot harder than most of us out here. Like me, I'm self-employed since I'm 18 years old, never had a paycheck, always worked on putting effort in, doing good work, and then I get paid, right? But I don't have a paycheck. I don't have anyone that thinks of paying me. I have to pay a lot of people. It's the other way around. I have to pay mortgages, banks, this, that, investors every month. And all these employees and their families that need to eat, right? But that is a complete different sense of necessity. So I don't ask myself when I wake up in the morning, am I motivated? But believe me, if you work for the German government, there's very little motivation in your life to actually be your best and do your best. And if you don't do this, you will lose your family, you will lose the respect and love of your partner, you will lose the respect and love of your children, of your brothers, of your friends, of your bosses, etc., etc., etc. Okay? And the truth is, if you want to have monumental freedom, monumental success in life, you want to live as long as possible in great physical shape and enjoy yourself, it's very unlikely you'll do it in a government job. It's way more likely you do it in a position that is very scalable, that is very risky, right? You don't need to be risk averse. The real risk is not trying. Not trying. That is the real risk if you don't try. So you have to try. You don't really have an option, right? So from this episode, just always remember, working for someone, working specifically for a government that doesn't give you opportunity to rise high and be monumentally free and successful is really going to make your life complacent. It's going to make your life boring. It's going to steal you from all this opportunity that you deserve, because you only have one life. They're going to take it from you. Okay? You will never have the strength and effort after 10 years being in that trap to actually step out of it. Most people don't do it. That's the stats. Now tell me, what do you guys think about working for the government, specifically Germany? Is it boring? Does it have opportunity? Or is it a lost cause? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe. I see you guys on the next one. Agohp Real, unedited and real. See you.